the soft glow of the lamp casting long shadows across the room. The memories of a time marked by both valor and horror flood back to me. It's been decades since the sands of Iwo Jima felt the weight of war. But to me, and to many who survived, the echoes of battle resound as clearly today as they did back in 1945. I was a young man then, barely out of my teens, filled with the fervor of patriotism and the untested courage of youth. We had trained rigorously, but nothing could truly prepare us for the reality of what we were about to face. The island of Iwo Jima was a critical strategic point, a stepping stone for our forces on the path to Japan. Capturing it was imperative, but the cost would be staggering. We arrived at Iwo Jima under the deceptive calm of dawn. The sea was unusually placid, a stark contrast to the hell we were about to enter. Our Higgins boats heaved through the surf, and as we approached the black sands, the Japanese artillery roared to life. The beach erupted around us, geysers of sand and shrapnel marking the fury of the island's defenders. The first sight of Iwo Jima was surreal. The island, though small, seemed ominous with its dark volcanic sand and the imposing figure of Mount Suribachi. It was a grim reminder that this battle would be unlike any we had faced before. As our boats inched closer to the shore, the tension was palpable. We knew that many of us would not leave this island alive. The moment the ramp dropped, the world transformed into chaos. The sound was deafening, the roar of artillery, the rattle of machine guns, and the screams of wounded men. I leapt into the water, my gear dragging me down as I struggled to reach the shore. Bullets zipped past, some finding their mark in the men around me. The air was thick with smoke and the smell of burning flesh. I was among the first wave, my heart thundering in my chest as the ramp dropped. The world exploded into chaos. Bullets whistled by, close enough to hear their lethal song. Shouts, the clank of gear, and the cries of the wounded filled the air. We surged forward, finding cover behind whatever scant protection the beach offered. The first few hours on the beach felt like an eternity. We moved forward in fits and starts, taking cover behind the few obstacles available, craters left by artillery, pieces of driftwood, the bodies of our fallen comrades. Each inch of ground gained was a victory, but the cost was high. I saw friends fall, their lives cut short by the relentless barrage of enemy fire. The black sand of Iwo Jima was soaked with their blood. The chaos was overwhelming, but there was no time to think, only to act. We were driven by the need to survive and the determination to complete our mission. The Japanese defenses were formidable, and their soldiers fought with a ferocity that matched our own. They were entrenched in bunkers and tunnels, well prepared for our assault. The beach was littered with obstacles, both natural and man-made, designed to slow our advance and increase our casualties. Our objective was clear, though hardly simple. Mount Suribachi loomed in the distance, a silent sentinel watching our every move. We knew the importance of that ground. It was the key to the island, the high point from which artillery could dominate the battle space. But first, we had to survive the beach. As we pushed inland, the fighting grew even more intense. The Japanese defenders were relentless, using every advantage of their fortified positions. The sound of gunfire was constant, a deadly symphony that played day and night. Sleep was a luxury we could not afford. Every moment was a battle for survival. Mount Suribachi dominated the landscape, its silhouette a constant reminder of the uphill battle we faced. Capturing it would be crucial to securing the island, but the Japanese had turned it into a fortress. They were deeply entrenched, their positions connected by a network of tunnels that made them nearly impervious to our artillery and airstrikes. The Japanese were entrenched like we'd never seen before. They had transformed Iwo Jima into a fortress of tunnels, bunkers, and hidden artillery positions. Our bombs and shells, formidable though they were, seemed only to scratch the surface. The real battle would be fought man to man, inch by bloody inch. Each step forward was met with fierce resistance. The enemy bunkers were interconnected, allowing the Japanese to move undetected and launch surprise attacks. We had to clear each position one by one, often resorting to brutal close-quarters combat. Flamethrowers and grenades became our tools of choice as we fought to dislodge the enemy from their fortified positions. The smell of burning flesh and cordite filled the air. The screams of the wounded and dying were a constant reminder of the price we were paying. There was no respite, no safe place. We lived in the moment, focused only on the next objective, the next enemy position. The Japanese were determined to fight to the last man, and their resolve was as unyielding as the island itself. It was a grinder. Every foot of ground was paid for with blood. The bunkers had to be cleared one by one, a task as dangerous as any I've known. We used flamethrowers, grenades, and sheer will to root the enemy out. I saw men, boys really, transform into warriors in the span of moments, their faces set with determination, even as their comrades fell around them. The island itself seemed to conspire against us. The volcanic sand was treacherous, making every step a struggle. The heat was oppressive, and water was scarce. Dysentery and other diseases took their toll, weakening our ranks. But we pressed on, driven by the belief that our sacrifice was necessary, that our fight would help bring an end to the war. I remember one night, huddled in a foxhole with a few of my comrades. The darkness was absolute, broken only by the occasional flare or the muzzle flash of a distant gun. We whispered to each other, sharing stories of home, of loved ones waiting for us. It was a small comfort, a brief respite from the horrors of the battlefield. But even in those moments of camaraderie, the fear was never far away. When the flag was finally raised on Suribachi, it was more than a piece of cloth on a pole. It was a signal to all of us that the bloodshed wasn't for naught. We stood, if only for a moment, watching it whip in the wind, a testament to our perseverance. But the battle raged on beyond that hill. The rest of the island still contested fiercely. The image of the flag raising became an iconic symbol of our struggle, capturing the spirit and determination of the men who fought there. But for us, it was just one moment in a long and brutal campaign. The reality was that the battle for Iwo Jima was far from over. The Japanese defenders were still entrenched, and the fighting continued with unabated ferocity. The flag raising was a moment of triumph, but also a reminder of the cost. 3 of the 6 men who raised that flag would not leave the island alive. Their sacrifice, and the sacrifice of so many others, was a testament to the fierce resolve that defined the battle. It was a victory, but a hard-fought and dearly won one. As the final days of the battle drew near, the resistance stiffened. The Japanese knew they were doomed, but fought with a desperation that was both terrifying and awe-inspiring. We fought for every cave, every trench, and every shadow, until the silence finally settled over what was left of the island. The last pockets of Japanese resistance were the most brutal. They fought with a determination born of hopelessness, refusing to surrender. Many chose to die by their own hand, rather than be captured. It was a grim end to a battle that had already claimed so many lives. The island was a wasteland of shattered bodies and ruined landscapes. In the end, Iwo Jima was secured, but at a staggering cost. Nearly 7,000 Marines were killed, and over 19,000 were wounded. The Japanese suffered even greater losses, with only a handful of their 21,000 defenders surviving. The island, once a symbol of Japanese strength, was now a testament to the incredible sacrifice and determination of the U.S. Marines. Now, as an old man, I pen these memories not to glorify war, but to honor those who fought beside me. The sands of Iwo Jima are quiet now, haunted only by the ghosts of the past. But we who returned carry its legacy in our hearts, a reminder of the cost of freedom and the weight of our duty. Iwo Jima taught us the extremes of human endurance and the depths of bravery. It showed us the darkness of war and the light of brotherhood. As long as these memories remain, the sacrifices made will never be forgotten. The island today has a small Japanese naval base. It is seldom visited. Only the ghosts of Japanese soldiers and U.S. Marines occupy the fighting grounds of the bloody black sand. The memories of that time, though faded, still hold a place in the hearts of those who lived it. In the years since the war, I have often reflected on the men I fought beside. They were ordinary men, thrust into extraordinary circumstances. They displayed a courage and resilience that defined our generation. Many of them never made it home, their lives cut short on the sands of Iwo Jima. Their sacrifice is a testament to the human spirit, to the strength and determination that can emerge in the face of unimaginable adversity. To the young listening to this story, remember that the peace we enjoy was bought with such trials. Cherish it, protect it, and remember the price paid by a generation that fought not for glory, but for a future they believed in. May their courage guide us, and their spirits watch over us. May we never forget. As I finish writing, I place my pen down and take a deep breath. The memories, though painful, are a part of who I am. They are a reminder of the strength of the human spirit, of the bonds forged in the crucible of war. I hope that by sharing my story, I can help ensure that the sacrifices made on Iwo Jima are never forgotten, that the legacy of those who fought and died there will live on in the hearts of future generations. The Battle of Iwo Jima was more than a military engagement. It was a testament to the resilience and courage of the human spirit. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times there is light, and that the sacrifices made in the name of freedom are never in vain. As long as we remember, as long as we honor their memory, the legacy of Iwo Jima will endure.